Hi, everybody. Hope you're doing well. Today, I wanted to talk to you about a psychic story. I have so many that's happened, and sometimes I do forget them. And, I think to myself, should I journal them? Of course. But then I get sidetracked and I forget. So I haven't journaled really anything of my psychic stories. It's all by memory. And, when you've been doing readings as long as I have, you tend to miss one or two. Ironically, um, I was thinking the other day from a little girl that, when I was a child, I used to get a lot of nosebleeds, abundance. I used to have to go to the hospital so I can get packed because the nosebleeds were so bad. And I thought to myself, well, this is really nice. I haven't had a nosebleed in a while. Sure enough, that's why your words are very powerful. Universe listens more than we sometimes want them to. But I got a nosebleed. And I got a terrible nosebleed that was on and off for a day. And all of a sudden, it caused me to remember what I was supposed to remember. And that is a psychic story of an experience that I had, I'm going to say about 9 years ago. I was at my office in Oak Brook, and I got ready to do a client that was coming in. It was a female. And she came in to my office, and all of a sudden, I felt like someone literally punched me in the nose, and I mean hard, and it hurt. I felt the feeling of it, and it was terrible. And as I'm with this client, I said, she looked at me and she goes, "Are you okay?" I said, "This is really weird, but did you ever get punched in the nose?" And all of a sudden, blood was coming out of my nose. And I didn't have any tissue, and the tissue box is always on my desk. So the lady says, "Oh my gosh," and she went to get the tissue. And she says, "Are you okay?" And she's handing it to me, and I'm trying to pat my face, my nose, everything. It was just gushing. And I said, "Did you ever get punched in the nose?" And she goes, "Yeah, I broke my nose." I says, "When?" She goes, maybe about 6 to 8 weeks ago, and I'm healing." I said, "Oh my God." I said, "I'm feeling it." And she goes, "Oh, it was terrible." And she goes, "And you're right, I did get punched." Oh my God. She was in an abusive relationship. Long story short, it was true. Now, the irony about this is as I was packing my nose literally with tissue paper because I couldn't get it to stop, and I'm sitting there like this, And she says, do you want to stop? And I said, "No." I says, "This is weird. I feel that I have to keep talking to you if you don't mind that I have tissue and I'm holding it like this." And she goes, "No, not at all." She goes, "Can you do a reading even with your head like that?" I said, "I could do a reading blindfolded." So the reading was wonderful. Ironically, I went through so much tissue and it was covered with blood, and I kept putting it in the waste paper can. So long story short, it finally stopped. She thanked me and she said, "Susan, I loved the reading. I just cannot believe that you went through this just so you can know what I went through." And I said, my body takes a beating when I do these readings because not only do I see, I hear, I smell, my body feels what has happened to someone, whether they're alive or whether a spirit has passed. My body takes a toll on doing these readings. So I thanked her. It was wonderful. She says, "I will never forget this experience." I said, "Yeah." I said, I bet you won't." And she left. So now my receptionist comes in and she says, "You okay?" And I said, "No." I said, "My nose was bleeding." She goes, "You're kidding." I said, "No." And I said, "You got to see how much blood." So I went to the waste paper basket and I had all the tissue there. But ironically, all the blood that was on the tissue was gone. It was just crumpled up tissue paper. I'm actually picking it up, opening it up, and there's no blood. Now she thinks I'm insane. She goes, "Susan, there's no blood here. What nosebleed are you talking about?" I go, "I had a profuse nosebleed." I said, half of the reading I had to do with my head up with the tissue paper. She says, "Well, where's the blood?" I said, "I don't know." Now, it's funny how life is. The woman that I did the reading on, she forgot her phone. It was on the chair when she was sitting across from me. So she came back. She goes, I'm really sorry. She says, but did I forget my phone? Is my phone in here? And I said, listen, now that you're here, I said, could you please tell her the nosebleed that I had when I was reading you? She goes, oh my God, she had a terrible nosebleed. There was blood everywhere. She looked and she goes, are you kidding? And I said, no, you got to come here and see this. I go, this is the tissues that I had in the waste paper basket. She goes, yeah, I know. I go, where's the blood? Her jaw dropped. My jaw dropped. Where did the blood go? Because it was intended for what I needed to go through and feel to really get what I needed to know for my client. So, is this a psychic story? I believe so, because look, I'm a person that always got nosebleeds when I was a little girl. So I know what a nosebleed is, and I know what blood looks like. And this was blood coming out, but yet it wasn't on any of the tissue when the reading was over. That's pretty, I never really ever experienced that. Now, time goes by. Maybe it's about 2 years later, excuse me. And I'm driving on the expressway, and it's raining. And all of a sudden the rain's turning to blood, but to a point where I'm just seeing red paint all over my car. And it felt like it was raining blood. And I'm looking, and nobody else has got that. Everybody's just got rain, water. So I'm thinking to myself, what is Spirit trying to lead me into? What does it want me to know? Ironically, the second clue came, and it was a missing person. And I remembered where the blood was coming down from and what the street was. So when the time came, I was starting to put things together. And again, I kept getting 19th Street. And sure enough, there was a person left for dead below 19th Street. So yeah, I've always been guided in that response. So when I find missing people, even people that have passed, it's still closure, but Spirit wants me to know, and it guides me. It's very, very interesting. So what's happening to me doesn't necessarily happen to other people at the time that I'm receiving these messages or actually even feeling these messages. But these messages are real. And it just led me to remember, because it was funny, my husband said, hey, Susan, you haven't done a psychic story. Do you got one? And I said, I can't really remember one. And all of a sudden, I got the nosebleed. I was thinking, gosh, it's been a while since I've had a nosebleed. And all of a sudden, I got a nosebleed. And it prompted me to remember what happened in my office, to me driving and getting all the blood, and again, finding a person that I did save that was left for dead below 19th Street. So I thought I'd share this with you. It was meant for me to speak about it because that's the only reason I feel, why did I get a nosebleed, to jar my thoughts up. And it was a story that now that I really remember it, oh God, there is no way I'm ever going to forget those nosebleeds. So I hope this has enlightened you. It was a very strange but very, very heartfelt story, and more to come, I'm sure, because Spirit loves to just bring all kinds of things to me. It does. So when you get these strange things, you're not crazy. And I just want to say thank you, and thank you for always tuning in, because I truly value all of you as an audience, and more to come. So I wish you peace, joy, love, and enjoy the rest of the week. You take care. Bye-bye.